Char. Elixirs. Hello guys, I'm coming back. Our topic for today is all about social and pure and applied science. Okay, so that will be our topic for tonight for this special vlog all about pure social and applied science. Okay, so we need to determine the relevance definition or what are the relevant information for that particular terminology, right? Oh, terminologies, by the way. Wait. Okay, I need to set up my other phone for my FB live streaming, mga palangga. Hello, this is your content creator, Junjun Inglesero. Okay, wait for a while. Okay, let's be ready. Okay. This will be rare and unique because I had enumerated at least 52 terminologies. This isn't talking about vocabulary, by the way. It's like a technical and academic study, okay? It relates to science, okay? But I need to explain first before tackling my elucidation of my particular discussion with regards to this subject matter. Okay, get the point. Okay. Okay, guys. I enjoyed a while ago because we made emails that we reviewed a lot, the grammar and the grammar range. So I enjoyed a lot. Really, okay, as part of my work. Things like that. Okay? Because at least it will be close to perfection when you send an email. Okay? Things like that. Okay, now we have here 52, right? Then, before starting my discussion about this, let me say that we need to define what is science, what is applied science, social science, and pure science. Now, if we will take a look back, we have 52 terminologies and we need to classify and categorize them if it belongs to environmental science or earth science, then let's say pure science, medical science, and social science and pure science. For example, I will say meteorology. What's this? Then if I say meteorology, you will answer also, right? So we need to classify it as a pure science, social science, and earth science, environmental science, or it could be related to medical science, right? Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay. So things like that. Okay. Okay, going back. Okay, I have here. Okay. So let's define science. Anybody? What is really science? We kept on studying science from elementary till college, but we don't know really the specific knowledge about that. Though we have the broad understanding and comprehension regarding that matter, but actually we don't have really the definite clue or understanding what that really all about, so that we can really have our own definition without referring to the standards or verbatim words reflected in the books. Meaning it's not through really verbatim or memorizing plainly the words from the text in the books. Okay, I advise you not to memorize plainly. We need to understand, comprehend. In that way, we can use our own vocabulary. Okay, either we can use simple, basic English, or let us say competent English, or proficient English, or superior English, or advanced English, or whatever. It depends on your pace of your English language ability. Okay, things like that. Okay, science is defined as really it is a systematic study of the particular structure and behavior of physical and natural world through observation, experimentation, and testing of theories, okay, against the evidence obtained. Well, it looks like complicated and cumbersome to understand, right? Then, if we try to understand really what are those all about, so we need to determine the context, the framework of the definition. We talked about the structure, we talk about behavior, we talk about physical, we talk about the natural world, we talk about the experimentation, observation, okay, and then we mentioned also testing of theories, okay, or principles or postulates like that, and then through against, meaning for the basis of the evidence, things like that. So if we have, if we have the keywords, then we can construct that in one definition. We can phrase properly. So meaning to say, in understanding the definition, we need only to discover the nouns, the action verbs, and the adjectives. The three important parts of speech. We may opt to think secondarily, or the secondary thing, which are mostly the adverbs, punctuations, connectors, interjections, the gerund, and the verb tenses. Tenses meaning the thoughts and the sense with regards to the grammar accuracy, things like that, collocation, and the idioms. We will think this as secondary only. Okay, we need to think fundamentally the nouns, verbs, and adjectives only. Okay, but if we really find it difficult, then we need to focus only in the nouns and the verbs. Not necessarily we'll be able to describe. Get the point? Okay, again, we will say science is a systematic study, or we can say directly a study if we found difficulty to apply adjective which is systematic. Okay? Because systematic is explicitly and logically arranged. That's the definition. Okay, then we put that only as a systematic, meaning systematized. Okay, so systematic, okay, is a systematic study or in order, okay, in a particular manner, in a precise manner, things like that, okay, of the structure. Structure, talking about the structure, parts by parts, like that. You need to dissect the structure parts by parts, components to components, sections to sections, like that. And the behavior. Behavior meaning how it behaves, things like it involves actions. And then of the physical, okay? Physical meaning actions, like that, physical aspects or actions. And the natural world, the world we live is a natural world. Because when we display our actions, okay, we are releasing that inside or within the environment or our habitat, which is situated and located in the planet Earth. So the planet Earth itself is called the natural world we live in. Things like that, physical and natural. And then, what are those descriptions? We need to have the observation, experimentation, like that, and testing of theories. Meaning, we do three actions: by observation, by experimentation, and testing of theories. And then we need to validate that in comparison to the gathered evidence obtained. Okay, that's really science. So we can say, oh, it's really factual. Okay, demonstrated facts. Okay, and facts. Okay, things like that. And that is science. Okay, so again, science is a systematic study of behavior and structure of physical and the natural world through observation, experimentation, testing of theories obtained based on the evidence. Okay, things like that. Now, after knowing that science all about, that's why we were wondering why our courses have always science at the end, right? Bachelor of Science, Bachelor of Science, Bachelor of Science, Bachelor's. Why science always involved in our profession? Okay, not Bachelor of Mathematics, major in blah blah blah, not Bachelor of Finance, major in blah blah blah, not Bachelor in Medicine, major in blah blah blah, not Bachelor of Technology, major in blah blah blah, not Bachelor of Computer. Why science is always used, right? Even though your course is not related to science study, still you have to put Bachelor of Science in psychology, right? Bachelor of Science in political science, things like that. And then, oh, how come the politics will become a science? So the word science really is very relevant for further study, okay, and for, practical application, okay, things like that. Okay, we have two types and one special type of science. The first type will be pure science. What do you mean by pure science, by the way? It is a scientific study of really the formation of knowledge. Okay, wait for a while. I may drink water because I'm thirsty. Okay. Wait. There is water. Okay. Okay, guys, that is really a scientific study of, demonstrated facts. Okay? For example, logic, mathematics, and studied not based or with regard to practical application. That's pure science. Why? There's no practical application. For example, science and technology. Okay, the technology will be the practical application, and the science there is the pure science. Okay, that would mainly based on logical reasoning, based on demonstrated facts and truths, things like that. Okay, get the point. So that's why science always involve math. Okay, and through that we have logic to solve math. We have logic to understand science, because logic, by the way, in the first place means it is really a reasoning, okay, conducted and assessed according through strict principles of validity. Wow, it looks like complicated definition, right? Or we can say directly reasoning that conforms to validity, because it looks like longer, right? We'll say reasoning, okay, conducted and assessed according to the strict principles of validity. We can also make it shortcut like this: is a reasoning, okay, like that conforms to validity, meaning it's always valid. When we have our logical reasoning, it's always valid. You get the point? So science are all valid. Things like, you get the point? That's why. And that is pure science all about. Okay. So I will introduce you a very strange noun that it looks like also the same as reducing, reduction, minimizing, diminishing, like that, or truncating. What do you call this one? You need to lessen, L-E-S-S-E-N. Reduce, like that, okay? So, deduction. We understand deduction as a subtraction, right? From a certain thing or a certain capital. For example, if I have a capital of 200 Saudi riyals, then I will buy a very luxurious laptop, then it will be deducted, so deduction. But in here, we can use also deduction in another point of view. Okay, meaning to deduce. To deduce meaning to arrive at a particular thing. Arrive, meaning to result, to yield, things like that. It's deduce or deducing. So it's separate from the first definition that we learned, that it's always deduction, meaning reducing, right? Deduction also meaning to deduce, to come up, to arrive at a certain idea or thing. So we will now revise our definition of pure science that goes like this, right? This is a scientific study of the deduction from demonstrated facts or truths, such as logic, mathematics, okay, and studied without regard to the practical application. Okay, always remember that, pure science doesn't really have the practical application. Okay, that's gonna be as simple as that, right? That's pure science. Now we have another science, another type. Actually, two types only. We have the social science. This is now SUSAI. That's why we studied a lot of SUSAI or social sciences in our college. Okay, because it has to deal something with the society, things like that, or the humanities. So what's the meaning of the social science? It is scientific study of human society and social relationship. Now we need to remember only relationship and the society. Two nouns, and the rest will be an adjectives. Okay, since this is highly scientific, we will say it's a scientific study of human society, meaning we describe society as particular as human. But actually, if we say society, that's automatically a human being, but in the benefit of the doubt, that's gonna be like specific only, okay? But it's okay also to say a scientific study of society only. Don't put human because when you say society, it's already human. But I cannot also try to debate the definition of the books like that or the references. They put really human. Okay? Because if animals, that is not society. Animals are not belong to the society. And also the microorganisms, right? And the plants. It's only human being. Things like this. It's going to be the scientific study of society, supposedly. Okay? And social relationship. Social relationship, it has to do something with the relationship of human being to another human being. You get the point? Because social, meaning people, the community, things, the public, things like that. You get the point? Okay, and that's the definition of social science. And now we have a special type of science. We have also applied science. This is now where our computer age is starting to evolve because we have now the state of the art technology, advanced technology. When we speak about technology, that is through practical application. You get the point? That is not based on theoretical aspects in the first place. Okay, so yeah, science and technology, meaning pure science and the practical application, because technology is tantamount to practical application or similar to technology and the practical application. And what is the definition of our applied science? It's gonna be a scientific study of existing scientific knowledge to develop more practical applications. So every individual has an existing scientific knowledge, okay, that we obtain that through education. Okay, now to develop more practical applications, right? Actual or hands-on, like that. So examples, experimentation, like that, or different tests and analysis or surveys through your hands, sense of touch, and everything chuba chuchu. You get the point, like the chuba chuchu meaning and others and so on. That's only a bilingual expression. Okay, that's the point in Philippine language. You know, fabricated Filipino language. There's a lot fabricated Filipino language. Like for example, Marites, fabricated language. Okay, like for example, Hitachi, Himantayong, Tabian, Chismosa, fabricated language. Okay, Charis, fabricated language. Charot, fabricated language. Things like that. Okay, there's a lot in the Philippines because Filipinos are very innovative in creating words so that it will not be obvious if they do the gossips and if they despise anybody else. Things like that. They're very clever, okay, to use words fabricated so that it will not be really obvious and evident to the person whom they despised and criticized. You get the point? Like that, hindi talaga. Okay, you get the point, things like that. Now, okay, now we need to determine here, okay, the applied science. Okay, okay, applied science here, which, okay, for example, meteorology, it's gonna be pure science. Metallurgy, pure science. Pharmacology, pure science. Toxicology, pure science. Pathology, pure science. Astronomy, pure science. Astrology, pure science. Geology, pure science. topography, pure science. Geography, take note, geography is a social science. Okay, demography also is a social science. Etymology is a social science. Biotechnology is a pure science. Hematology is a pure science. Cytology is a pure science. Histology is gonna be, wait for a while, yeah, pure science. Astrology is a pure science. Neurology is a pure science. Ophthalmology is a pure science. Audiology, okay, pure science. Psychology is social science. Anthropology is social science. Sociology is social science. Evolution is social science. Ecology is pure science. Ecosystem is pure science. Biology is pure science. Botany is pure science. Zoology, pure science. Andrology, pure science. Gynecology, pure science. Ethology, pure science. Etiology, pure science. Entomology is going to be, pure science. Ethnology is social science. Seismology, pure science. Hypertonic, pure science. Hypotonic, pure science. Geology is a social science. Psychology is a social science. Okay. Physiology is a social science. Okay. Morphology. Okay, wait. Okay. No, it's a pure science. Physiology. Morphology is a pure science. Anatomy is a pure science. And geology is a pure science. Okay, like that. And some parts of lymphatic tissues, components of lymphatic system and its functions, and also the epidemiology. Oh, I really love epidemiology. Epidemiology is a pure science. Now, let's break the pure science into environmental science, earth science, okay, medicine or medical science, and biology, and chemistry, and physics. Okay, let's identify one by one. Meteorology. Okay, this is earth science or environmental science. Metallurgy. This is gonna be, what's this all about? This belongs to chemistry or earth science. Pharmacology. This belongs to medicine or medical science. Toxicology. This belongs to medicine and medical science. Pathology, medical science. Astronomy is earth or environmental science. Astrology, earth or environmental science. Earth or environmental science. Topography, earth or environmental science. Geography, still I mentioned a while ago, this is still a part of social science. Okay, demography again, social science. Okay, etymology is social science. Biotechnology is biology. Hematology is medicine or medical science. Cytology is, shall we say, medical science or cell biology or biology. Okay, histology, okay, it's gonna be biology or medical science. Oceology, medical science. Neurology, medical science. Ophthalmology, medical science. Angiology, medical science. Psychology is gonna be medical science. Anthropology, social science. Sociology, social science. Evolution, social science. Ecology is gonna be earth or environmental science. Ecosystem, earth or environmental science. Biology, of course, biology. Botany is biology. Zoology is biology. Andrology is gonna be related to medical science and biology. Gynecology related to biology and also medical science. Ethology related to biology only. Etiology related to biology and medical science. Entomology related to biology only. Ethnology related to social science. Seismology related to earth and environmental science. Hypertonic related to chemistry. Hypotonic related to chemistry. Geology related to social science. Psychology related to social science. Okay. Physiology related to biology. Okay. Morphology related to biology. Anatomy related to the biology or medical science. Okay. And geology, medical science or medicine or biology. Okay, so there are few chemistry and there's no physics here. Okay, as you can remember, physics is a branch of science that deals with the study of matter and energy. And chemistry is a branch of science that deals with the study of matter and the changes it undergoes. Nothing here, right? Okay, now let's define one by one. Okay, meteorology, and we need to apply that in a sentence. Okay, that's the most difficult part, right? The practice and application of each terminology so that we can understand really the total framework how to apply that in the utilization of sentence or in your paragraph when you make an essay, report, or speaking content or communication, things like that. Or if you'll be able to conduct and execute a training or any types of formal speech or informal speech, would it be occasional, regular, or whatever? Get the point, things like that. Okay, now meteorology. What is a meteorology? Anybody who can answer? Now we need to study this on, okay, up to 52 to increase our knowledge. Because it doesn't mean that you are not a science professional or you are also not a health professional, not you are not in the medicine. We don't understand this. Okay, because some of this can save our life here. Okay, obviously, especially epidemiology, it can save our life. Okay, things like that. So we need to understand, and by the time from it could reach 6 months to 1 year of studying this whole framework. Okay, so let's do it gradually, but for now we need to introduce one by one. This is your content creator and informal instructor in your interactive social media platform, Engineer Sotero and Nepomuceno Jr., registered chemical engineer in the Philippines. Okay. And also a professional occupational safety and health engineer, 23 years of experience, migrating from different countries all over the world, from usually Asia and Middle East only. I've not tried for USA and Europe. Maybe someday if I could make it, then inshallah. Okay, things like that. Okay, we have here meteorology. What's this all about? So when you try to take a look at a word, you need to understand first the words and the letters. Meteorology, you need to get the exact root word first. There is meteor. Meteor is one type of like an asteroid in the outer space in the universe, right? And then it is very also catastrophic if it would try to contact in a very tremendous velocity to the earth, and the earth will be shattered and it will be exploding by a minute or a second or a plot of a second if this asteroid will try to contact, in an excessive manner or in a tremendous manner. So there's gonna be like a meteor like that. So one types of an asteroids in a celestial bodies in the universe. Things like that. If you can still remember or science or elementary science, things like that. The point. Things the meteorology is the study of atmosphere and its related phenomena, and including climate and weather. Take note the way I express, and including. So I have the intonation right, because if you don't have the intonation, you will never have a connected speech when you talk. Just like joining oratorical contest, declamation contest, you need to have intonation. Where to go up, where to slow down. You need to always emphasize with a stress, whether it could be in the first syllable, second syllable, and then you can pronunciate that. Actually, pronunciation will be secondary only as long as it will be understood by everybody, right? Okay, so this is gonna be meteorology. Secondly, adverb, right? Second, we have the metallurgy. Okay. Sorry guys, okay, I'm talking so fast. Okay, so do you understand clearly my discussion in English? Okay, it doesn't need you have a superior English, a professional or advanced English to understand, an effective communication or whatever. Okay, all you have to do is to extract the main point. Then a little bit of, extracting the specific detailed information. The point. So in that way, you can really assess what's the keywords of that. Things like that. You get the point. Okay, right? Talaga, Englishero talaga. Okay, number 2, metallurgy. What is really a metallurgy? Anybody? Things like that. Okay. So what is really a metallurgy? Metallurgy has a very unique definition. It's a branch of science and technology. Oh, wow. There's a practical application. It's a branch of science and technology that deals with the study of the properties of metals, its production and purification. Wow, I love it. Purification, it has to do something with alloying. You get the point? You need to combine one element over the other elements to come up with a one element. For example, galvanized iron sheet. That we use that as our roof in our homes, like that. You get a point? Okay. And what else? There's a lot. For example, cast iron, like that, or stainless steel. Okay, that's a combination of one element to another elements in the process of alloying. This is a specific example of, purification and also protection. Then, of course, you cannot do that without knowing the properties of metals or elements, right? Okay, at least you must have a thorough knowledge of the properties of elements specifically. Okay, and that is metallurgy. Any question? Now we go to pharmacology. Wow, I'm not BS pharmacy student, but based on my research, pharmacology is a branch of medicine and medical science that deals with the study of, the formation and then, the detection of the poisons, and also sometimes the formation, the detection of the poisons like just a toxicity like that, and then also it involves also the analysis and the measurement of these toxins, okay, and other intoxicating and, shall we say, banned substances and contaminants, including also the medical prescriptions to the person's body. Wow, it's so complex to understand, right? So all we have to do is to structure it again. Okay, when you say pharmacology, it has to do something with the poison. You need to say that's talking about poisonous substances. Not usually, most of the times are chemicals or hazardous substances, things like that, or the hazardous air pollutants, the pollutants are the air contaminants, things like that. Okay, you get the point. Okay. And then the causes, okay, why this occurs, these poisons, it included in your study, and also the formation. So why it formed like that? And after that, if it already formed, then we need to analyze and measure things like that. For example, the percentage of toxicants or pollutants or contaminants, right? Things like that. That's through toxins. Okay, things like, or intoxicating substances. Guys, the word intoxicating the same as unpleasant for our health. Things like that. So like complete, incomplete. The prefix in would mean negative. But not all the time in English vocabulary, because sometimes if you add in, will not also say negative at all times. For example, invaluable. Invaluable is the same as important. Meaning there's an exemption of the prefix in. For example, injustice, there will be no justice. Right? Inequity, meaning there's no equality. Things like that. Or inequality, things like that. You get the point on that. The same here also. Right? You get the point. So intoxicating. So meaning to say, this has not something to do with that leveling. Okay? Intoxicating meaning this really produce toxins. Okay, banned substances, BANNED, meaning these are banned due to the poisonous, properties. Okay, and also the toxicology properties, or how toxic the substances are, like that. The clues here will be, okay, the causes, formation, and the detection of the poisons, and then the measurement and the analysis of the toxins and other intoxicating substances, plus the medical prescriptions to the person's body. Now, for example, if you have a headache, things like stomach pain, then if you're not feeling well and it looks like you are exhausted and very tired, things like that, and you are really on the painful situation, things like that, okay, and suffering, okay, fatigue, things like that. Then, if the doctor will prescribe medicines to you, this is a part of the study known as toxicology in medicine or in medical science. It's not purely limited to the toxins, poisons, and everything, okay? even though the medical prescriptions. For example, if you have ulcer, if you have hyperacidity, and then if you have also any type of disease, whether it is only minimal disease, acute disease, okay, not necessarily chronic disease, and then the doctor will prescribe you medicines and treatment. That's a part of the study of the toxicology. Okay, you get the point. So we may understand this term not in a word for word. Okay, so meaning comprehensive. Okay, because what we understand before that it's only related to toxins because there's a word toxicology. Things like okay. So you get the point. Ganon. Okay, guys. Now this is toxicology. Okay. Now pharmacology. So pharmacology and toxicology. Toxicology is really a study of the causes and effects of this disease. Okay, diseases, things like toxicology. We got the pathology. What is a pathology? Nakakaloka yung pathology. Okay? You get the point? So, don't be confused with pharmacology and toxicology because pharmacology is related to the drugs and pharmaceutical products. Okay, the drugs and pharmaceutical products, meaning to say it's a study of the uses and effects and the mode of actions of the utilization of drugs. That's pharmacology. So effects and uses. You get the point? Things like that. And then toxicology is another thing, the formation, as I discussed a while ago. It's very clear, right? And then pathology meaning pathogens, meaning the disease-causing substances. Okay, things like that. So, you will die because of pathogens. Okay, because if we don't have pathogens, okay, or for example, if we don't have pathogens, mutagens, toxins, and carcinogens, the people will stay longer up to 200 years old. Okay, now, if we have these pathogens, toxins, mutagens, and carcinogens, obviously, this will limit our age because people are really mortals. We will die because the food we eat every day contains, okay, pathogens, toxins, carcinogens, and mutagens. We just don't know it because every time we eat after our dinner and lunch, we don't have testing and analysis in our food eaten in a daily basis. Then if we try to get a sample and analyze that in a laboratory, we can find out that there's are toxins there. We ignore that because our purpose only is to make our stomach full. You get the point? And to acquire energy only, things like that. And it matters only of how delicious is that, like that, and it satisfies your hungriness. Okay? That's only our main purpose. But if you try to analyze a little sample, for example, of you eat like, for example, a yellow rice, things like that. So there's preservatives, there's coloring, there's flavoring, that way it becomes yellow, and that's not good for the health. Coloring and flavoring are not good for the health. You get the point? Because of the preservatives, it's under carcinogens, suspected carcinogens. You get the point? That can cause cancers. Carcinogen substances can cause cancers. Okay, you get the point? Anak siya. Okay, so ang pathology is a branch of medical science and medicine, it's very clear, right? That studied the causes and effects of diseases. Meaning, why it happened? Things like that. And then the effects also. Okay, and then after the effects, you need to have the diagnosis and treatment with that. Okay, and that's the time the doctors will decide if you have a prescriptions of the medicines or you will stay in the hospital for further treatment and other tests to be done. Things like that. And then what's being emphasized in pathology is the laboratory analysis of the samples of your body tissues. Okay, the tissues there, it could be in the form of blood sample, urine sample, saliva, semen, sperm cell, or anything, or fluids like that, urine, like that, stool, whatever, for the purpose of diagnosis and treatment. And also for further studies in forensic studies. Okay, because this will be used also, the blood chemistry. Things like that. Sometimes, through blood chemistry, we can identify who killed a person. Things like that. So, not sometimes, it is true that we can determine who raped this girl. by using only the semen and the sperm cell by testing the DNA test. That's the study of forensic science. You get the point? So we can determine. So pathology is related to that. That's why forensic science, Bachelor of Science, major in forensic science, have a very comprehensive subjects to pathology subjects. I'm not a doctor, but I'm researching that in the websites, things like that. You get the point? Because I'm engineer, I'm not related to medicine. You get the point? So number 6, we have astronomy. What is astronomy? Okay. Oh, there's a confusion between astronomy and astrology, right? Okay. How can we say that it is an astronomy? Okay. Whoa. For example, PAGASA, Philippine Astronomical, okay, Geophysical Service Administration. Okay, but it looks awkward to listen. We need to put articles. What articles? And the. We will say Philippine Astronomical and Geophysical, comma, okay, Services and Administration. Articles are very important. The and the. Okay, because without this, we cannot formulate a complete sentence and the sense will change. Okay, get the point? So never mind with your proficiency level in English, as long as you can use the basic English, then that's fine, right? We don't have to compete, in oral competition, declamation competition, writing competition like that. Okay, so at least we have a basic and average proficiency in English. You get the point? Okay. Now we have astronomy is the branch of earth science or environmental science. Environmental science in a macroscopic scale. What do you mean by macroscopic scale? Because this is an outside environment from the planet Earth as our reference. The planet Earth inside or within is called the environment, like the water, the sea, the atmosphere, and the soil. But outside the planet Earth, so that is now called outside environment, right? If we take the reference Earth. So we will say it's a branch of Earth science that deals with the study of the universe. Okay, universe, meaning outer space, okay, and also the contents of the atmosphere outside from the planet Earth. Okay, beyond things like that. And not only that also, it's also a study regarding to the celestial bodies or heavenly bodies, regarding to their movements, okay, motions, positions, and properties, things like that. Or we can summarize this as this. Okay, astronomy is a branch of earth science that deals with the study of the universe, okay, celestial bodies, and also the contents outside the atmosphere from the planet Earth. Now, we need to remember that the celestial bodies, it has to do something with the positions, okay, motions, properties, and the movement. Okay, so it's obviously taking into consideration the velocity, okay, the acceleration, the gravity, the momentum, the impulse, the characteristics and properties of physics. Okay, with regards to the study of physics, right? Okay, things like that. And now we have astrology. Astrology, during your memorization technique, you need to remember that there's a similar case to the astronomy, but we need to eliminate the word universe and the outside and the content outside of the planet Earth. We need to focus on the celestial bodies. Okay, now astrology is not the branch of science. Okay, you will say just astrology is a study. You will never say branch of science. Okay, it's a study because most of the study of astrology is, for example, you need to understand the Feng Shui of China. For example, year of the dragon, year of the dog. These are all about astrology. This is not related to pure science in the first place. And so you don't need to say it's a branch of the science that deals with the study. You don't have to say like that during your memorization. You will say really that it is a study of the movement and relative position and motions okay, and properties of celestial bodies, okay, that is interpreted, okay, that is interpreted to the influence of the human being. See, human being, okay, take note, and to the modern world. So these are the important clues. The humanity, the people, and the modern world. Okay, so the people in the planet Earth are believing, sometimes with a superstitious belief brought by the Chinese people, right? For example, in the new year, that our fruits will be circled because success will be there. For example, and a year of the dragon, year of the dog. So this is an example of the study of astrology. Because, interpreted, okay, as an influence to people and humanity and to the natural world. The natural world is the planet Earth we live. You get the point? Things like that. So that's astrology. Okay, it's very clear. Or you can say also it's the movement, okay, the position, the motion of celestial bodies, okay, that could affect the people and the events within the planet Earth. Actually, you can play just like playing a game in constructing your definition. You need not to limit only based on the books, based on what you saw in the Google search. You need to have your own talaga so that you can have, your level will be superior English or, advanced English leveling in our international English examination results, things like that. Okay, things like that. And then language ability, by the way. Okay, so we have your geology. What is geology? So geology, it has to do something with the soil or the earth's surface, things like that. So geology is a branch of science that deals with the study of the earth's, take note, the earth's apostrophe S, the earth's interior structure and its composition. Now, if we study outside, okay, it's not geology. You get the point? That is only geography. That's the difference between geography and geology. You get the point? Again, it's a branch of earth science that deals with the study of Earth's, okay, interior structures and its composition. Okay, now we have here topography. You always hear this word topography, right? Topography is very important in studying also where earthquakes. We can determine where are the tectonic plates happening, then the fault line happening, whether it is continuous from the Philippines going to Japan, going to Alberta, Canada, whatever. Because these types of tectonic plates are really continuous, okay, in nature. Tectonic plates. Okay, understanding the tectonic plates, the soil position and configuration, it has to do something with the topography. Okay, get the point? Things like that. So topography is a branch of earth science that deals with the study of the configuration of the earth's surface, including the position, take note, including the position of natural and man-made features of the earth's crust. Meaning, if you build a building on infrastructures on that particular soil, then you need to study the topography for that particular soil. Maybe it is really have a fault line and there will be a tectonic plate there, and due to excessive vibration and then earthquake will be happening, things like that, then problem. Okay, because natural and man-made. Buildings, structures, bridges are man-made. That's why it's included in our definition of the topography. Topography is the branch of earth science, it's very clear, right? Okay, that deals with the study of the configuration of the earth's surface, including the position, okay, of the natural and man-made earth's feature. Earth here meaning the soil, the land, things like that. You get the point? So things like that. So the feature, okay? Things like so. It's very clear. Natural meaning the natural creation of the Lord, the soil, without touching it at first. Secondly, we have the man-made because we need to put the building, the structure, so it will become now man-made, right? Now, if it is really man-made, then you need to adjust the the characteristic or the properties of the soil based on the topography study. Okay. Now, we have here geography related to geology and topography. What's the difference for this? Okay, like that. It is more detailed than topography. Topography is under only geography. I'll just separate it to make it as a detailed, specific information. You get the point? But sometimes also in a definition, we need to mention a terminology that is not really explained well pa. Okay, not explained. That's why we need to break it out to introduce to you guys. Okay, so things like that. Okay, now geography meaning is a branch of earth science that deals with the study of the physical properties. Take note, physical properties of the earth's surface, including topography and the climatic pattern. Wow. So it's in here that you need to adjust of the weather because your soil will be also affected because of the weather, like summer heat. For example, a drought, there will be no more water. Okay, your soil will also become cracky, right, and broken. So this is the whole study of geography. Climatic pattern is also included, not only the topography. You get the point? So we will enjoy geography because it's external study only, basing on, take note, not chemical properties, physical properties. You get the point? Okay, so that's very clear, right? Because if it's a chemical property, it has to do something with metallurgy. You get the point a while ago. Because most of the study of metallurgy is also inside the land, related to mining industry. Okay, alloying metals, exploration underneath the soil, things like that. Okay, related this siya sa metallurgy, geography, and geology. Okay, now we have demography. Demography is a social science, deals with the study of the population. Okay, that's through survey census of the birth rate, the death rate, like that. You got the point? It's basing on that. Total population. Now we are, based on my research, we are now 7,942,654.68. Okay, people all over the world, based on January 2023, latest. Because every 3 months they will change. For now, we have an exact figure, not included to the person who died in the February, March, April, and May. Because the records are based only in January 2023. Okay, so we are people all over the world. Our total population is 7,942. No, 7 billion, sorry, 7,942,654,068. Sorry, okay, I'm not good in math also. Char, okay, parapalaan. Okay, got the point, things like that. Okay, now, that is the total population, right? And the smallest population will be 11,017. 11,017 based on May 9, 2023 results of the United Nations Department of, Population section, because they will be the one to record. May 9, 2023, latest also, 11,017 people, smallest population all over the world, located in Nauru, Republic of Nauru, European countries. Okay, I'm not really that sure. It's gonna be European countries or related to African. Just research that by yourself. Things like that. Okay, as long as it is Republic of Nauru or Nauru, is a country that has a smallest population all over the world. Only 11,017. Okay. That was May 9, 2023 record, latest. May 9, now May 17. So it's not changing yet, right? Okay, got the point. Things like that. So sometimes I will also research latest trends, that's why. Okay? So did you remember that I told you a while in my last 3 months that there is one element discovered, ununinium, in 2018. They will try to add that in the periodic table. But there's a lot of argumentation if they will put it. The United States of America will not accept. And then there's a group of people in the United Nations, group of scientists. They tried to collaborate with each other and have a meeting like that if they really include this element in the periodic table so that it will be reflected in the textbooks. But until now, it's not officially reflected. So we have still 118 elements in the periodic table. Okay, and we have also 193 countries all over the world. At least we can answer. So there are how many countries all over the world? You can answer 193, like that. Okay, right? Okay. How many countries in Asia? Things like that. There are 48 countries in Asia. At least you can answer something, right? Okay. You can learn these things if you study international studies. You get the point. So we have here also, here the next will be etymology. Etymology, Etymology. Etymology meaning this is not a pure science. This is a soci. Soci. In our prospectus in college, abbreviation is only soci. Okay, SO period, SCI period, and then subject number. Talking about anthropology, logic, like that, ecology, anthropology, sociology. So these are the subjects that are minor subjects apart from your major subject and still science, right? So, in fact, Bachelor of Science talaga. So science really is the winner of all subjects. Okay? Superior is science. Science and English actually because math will be inclusive to science. The calculation, the math will be related to science, and in definition itself, based on Oxford and Cambridge or Webster Dictionary, mathematics is a pure science. You get the point? I mean, it's under only science as a subject. You get the point? So the powerful subject academically is really science. And so we put Bachelor of Science, Bachelor of Science, Bachelor of Science. Okay, things like that. You get the point? And then science and English. Okay, the two. You can also have math, but math is under science talaga. Okay, because solve mathematical problems are under science due to evidence, data, analysis in the laboratory, technology, application, practical application, or applied science as I mentioned a while ago, right? Okay. Now we have etymology. This is unique. This is if you study about literature. Okay, guys, what's this all about? Etymology is the study of the origin of words. It's the study of the origin of words. For example, I will say lambda, okay, rho, theta, phi, alpha, beta, micro, epsilon. What's this all about? The origin of this is from Greece. These Greek letters. Okay, things like that. And these are used in calculations in science. Alpha ray, beta ray, gamma ray, epsilon, rho. Rho usually can be expressed as a pressure, rho. Okay, lambda can be expressed also as a wavelength of a sound wave, like that. Okay, things like you still remember the wavelength, the crest and the trough, things like a wave in the sea, and we need to compute that also, and the amplitude. If you love physics, right? Things like that. Okay, so ganun siya. So it's gonna be etymology is the study of the origin of words. Okay, so thank you so much for watching Ralph Ashley Boris. Okay, now we have biotechnology. Biotechnology is a branch of biology that deals with the study of biological processes for industrial and important purpose, specifically for the genetic manipulation of organisms and microorganisms to produce new species and products. Example, if you try to make a multivitamins, capsules, antibiotics, or another, synthesized hormones outside from your body, they have to take that. Okay, for example, you need to buy a collagen inside the plastic container, the small bottle. So these are really under the process of biotechnology. They are using the microorganisms to produce the product to catalyze the reactions. So they will use as a catalyst in order to produce these products. Okay, then take note, these are called GMOs. Okay, genetically modified organisms. GMO. Usually our world today, we are really fortified, or we are really mixed with this GMOs. Okay, for example, if I have this guava, then I need to produce another guava that the color is orange. So you need to produce another product in that original species, and it sounds unique. Things like that. That's under biotechnology. You get the point. So you produce another product in different colors like that, blah blah blah, so and so. You get the point. Okay, I love it, biotechnology. It's really interesting in biotechnology. I love it, really. I love to work there. Cha! Okay, okay. Things like that. Okay, hematology. Okay, nursing student. Okay, pharmacy students. What's hematology? Hematology, it has to do something of the study of medicine and medical science that talks about the study of the blood and its treatment and diagnosis. Things like hematology. For example, you need to study the WBZ, the white blood cells, and the RBZ, the red blood cells. Okay, then you may understand the leukocytes family of organisms. Okay? Oh, you may understand hemoglobin. You may understand ferritin. Things like that. Okay, that's why we need iron in order for us to become healthy. Because our hemoglobin needs iron for our red blood cells. That's why we need to eat protein food. Because protein food have iron. Things like that. You get the point? Okay. And vitamin B12 also. The vitamin Bs are really having this cobalamin. Vitamin B12 is known as cobalamin. Vitamin B1 is thiamine, vitamin B2 like niacin, vitamin B3 is niacin, vitamin B2 is riboflavin, things like that. There is an equivalent to that, okay? Vitamin B7 is biotin, things like that in the vitamin B family. If you study about vitamins in biochemistry, from vitamin A to vitamin E, you will know these things. And it's very important because our body needs vitamins. You get the point? For example, you love to eat tomato. So tomato is under what? Things like that. What vitamins you will obtain from tomato? Things as you need to obtain lycopene, okay, and also vitamin A. Vitamin A for guys, the more it will become red and orange, that's a sign that it's rich in vitamin A. For example, squash, carrots, tomato, rich in vitamin A. The main purpose is in order for our eyesight to become lucid. You know lucid? Become garish. You know, garish becomes bright. You can see clearly in our. That's why if you have this vitamin A, automatically the lutein protein will be there. Lutein, okay, for your retina. In the center of your eyes, the black color, there's a retina, right? This is responsible for the eyesight. So let's have lutein protein and also lycopene, and this rich of vitamin A. Okay. Remember this, if the fruits and vegetables will become orange, red, reddish, something like that, it's rich in vitamin A. And the best example for that, carrots, okay, like, and squash, things like that. And also tomato. It depends on our pronunciation. Well, over pronunciation. Okay, you get the point, things like that. Okay, now, we have here cytology. I love cytology. Because without cytology, we will die also. Really, because it has to do something with the study of the cells. And you know, our cells will be active in order for us to become alive. In order for our cells to become active, then we will be healthy and we have a strong immune system. Things like that. Okay, cytology is a branch of medicine or medical science that deals with the study of the cells. Okay, cells starting from its morphology. Wow, big term. Later I will discuss morphology. Starting from the morphology, structural, ultrastructural. What is the difference between structural and ultrastructural? Ultrastructural, it has to do something with a macroscopic scale of the structures, not the minute, not the small. Okay, it's big, like an organ. Okay, before it will become an organ, it's composed of organelles. Before it will become an organelles, it's composed of a lot of cells. Things like that. And then cells are within the tissues. So there's a chronological order for it, and the last will be the organ. Okay, things like it has to do something with cells, tissues, organelles, organ. Okay, in biology, things like that. Okay, now cell study is a cytology. Okay, your identification will be the capital letter C. It has to do something with a cell. Okay, things like that. Okay, when you have a cyst, it has to do something with the cells also that are abnormal. The formation are abnormal. That it will grow. Things like that. You get the point? Things like that. And then morphology. Okay, what else? Structure, structural, the life cycle. The life cycle and the pathogen of the cells. Of course, we need to study the cell's life cycle, where it will die, where it will grow. And then we need also to discover the pathogens, because this disease-causing substances will let the cells die inside our body. So we need to study pathogens, right? Things like that. You get the point? Okay. Now we have osteology. If your sons and daughters love to study about the skeletal and the bones, if your sons and daughters in college will study health, medical science or medicines, osteology is a very challenging course because it's specifically study with the bone, the health of the bone. So this is a branch of medicine or medical science that deals with the study of the structures, okay, and the functions of the skeletal and bony structures. Bony meaning it was used as an adjective that comes from the bone. That's why bony. You use the bone as a noun, converted to adjective, that's why it will become bony. Things like that. You get the point? So you change it based on the grammar of your paragraph. You get the point? Things like that. So the meaning of osteology is this branch of medicines and medical science that deals with the study of the structure, okay, the functions, and before the functions, the development also. Okay, I just add something to make it comprehensive. Okay, my own. Because how can we study the functions if it will not develop? Right? So, structures, development, and also the functions of the skeletal and bony structure, or specifically skeleton and bones. So, what are the bones? Joints, cartilages, ligaments. Okay, these are the examples of the bones. You get the point? And there are lots of types of bones also. But I'm not a doctor. I cannot state exactly what are those. Only the common ones. Okay? Things like that. Okay. Neurology. Now, seriously, what's the difference between neurology and psychology? It has to do something with the mind. Right? Okay. Let's try to understand. Okay, neurology. When you mean of neurology, is a branch of medicines or medical science that deals with the study of the treatment, okay, and diagnosis of the disorders, okay, in the central nervous system, which is the brain, particularly the neurons. Okay, central nervous system. You need to study that also. I discussed that last 4 months ago, the different types and structures of the brain, right? Because and its functions and structures also, right? So neurology, it has to do something with a disorder. When you have the disorder, meaning you have a neurological disease, you will become a psychotic in the process of a psychosis. You have an abnormal mental state, things like that. You become crazy, you become fool, or whatever, things like that. Okay, so that's neurology. Again, it has to do something with the treatment and diagnosis of disorders, okay, in the central nervous system. Remember the word disorder. Neurology, there's a bad statement there, always in the definition of neurology. But psychology, it's not stating the bad. Okay, psychology is to do something with the mind also. It's a scientific study of the human mind and its function, especially affecting behavior. Okay, it has not to do something with the disease, the illness, the cure, the treatment. As long as you're studying only the human mind, you need to psychologize the actions, the movements, the behavior. That's it. Okay, you get the point? There is no health implication for that. It will never manifest regarding prescriptions of medicines, treatment, or whatever. Okay, diba? Manifestation or manifest in English. Okay, so we have here ophthalmology. Ophthalmology, it has to do something with the eyes, right? The same story. It's a branch. The first thing to do is to always put is a branch, is a branch, is a branch to make it comprehensive in your essay. But if the instructors and your teachers love only direct answers, then you can go directly. You don't need to put is a branch, but it looks like attractive when you put something appealing words, right? Because this is all about advanced vocabulary. You get the point? Things like so. It's a branch of medical science or medicines that deals with the study of the treatment and the diagnosis, okay, of the disorders of the eyes. The same thing. You need to remember the disorder and you need to target the recipient part of your body, which is the eye. Okay, things like that. Now, remember the word treatment, it's always coupled with the diagnosis. Because once you have the results of the testing, it is diagnosis, right? Diagnostic results. It has to do something with testing in the laboratory, things like that. And that is the process of diagnosis, right? And after that, the doctors can easily prescribe something to you in order for you to be recovered or to become healed. Things like that. And that's a treatment or cure. But it's not prevention. You get the point? Things like that. That is ophthalmology. And now we have audiology. What is the definition of audiology in your own definition? Audiology, root word is audio. It has to do something with the ears. Okay, hearing system. Again, using the same pattern. It's a branch of medicine and medical science that deals with the study of hearing, balance of hearing, and disorders, not necessarily diagnostics. Okay. For example, if you have audiometry tests in your, if you go to the hospital, part of your physical examination, it's only measuring. It doesn't need diagnostic after that. Okay? You get the point. So you don't have to include the diagnostic and treatment here. Only studying the hearing, the balance, and the disorder. Okay? Things like that. You have to deal to another physician. What is the specialized for that diagnostic and treatment when it comes to the, deafening of your ears. Deafening meaning to say you cannot hear, right? Or the damaging of your eardrums due to excessive and tremendous noise intensity that your ears can hold to a certain level of noise. You get the point? Or sound. The unit is intensity, right? Or decibels, to be specific. You get the point? Okay, things like that. Then if your environment is very noisy, then problem. You must check this after 1 year, one time in a year. Audiology. You go to the audiometry in the hospital if there's something wrong with your hearing, so that they can recommend the earpiece, things like that for the hearing. Okay, they will never tell you to drink capsule or to intake capsule, antibiotics like that and everything. Only for the air, putting air system here, control only. That's why it's not diagnostic there. It's not needed there in the definition. You get the point? It's different from ophthalmology and urology. Okay, things like that. Oh, okay. Psychology is the scientific study of human mind and its functions, especially affecting behavior. Okay, behavior it has to do something with actions, huh? Personality doesn't need action. Okay, but it's part. When you say personality, behavior can be a component of a personality. But when you say exclusively behavior, it is not equivalent to personality. You get the point? So you get the difference, a little difference between behavior, because behavior is really action. For example, if I will sit in the chair, even though I will not stand up, I will not walk, they will recognize my personality due to how I greet the people, how I greet them, how I smile, how I politely answer them if they ask questions to me. So this is a part of personality. Okay, but I'm sitting, I'm not doing anything, right? So behavior is different. You need to act. There's action, there's movement, there's motion. So that's behavior. With the study of psychology, it's not the personality is being studied, it's the behavior. You get the point? Get the point? And the character is more broad. It involves also the personality and the behavior. And there's also another one, the attitude. So you need to know what's the difference between attitude, character, behavior, and personality and values, because these five terminologies have common relationship with each other. You need to know the distinct relationship, the small difference between each other. What is a values? Is because values are can be that is uncountable noun, no problem. Okay, got the point. Because values we're referring to the personality, things like that. But if you use that in another sentence, yeah, the value of this number will become greater. That's another thing. That's not the same meaning, right? In math, the value of 233 is more than of this one. So that's not the value. Or the value of your reputation matters a lot to improve our economy. So that's another thing. That's only value, but we're talking about values. So we need to say uncountable, whether singular or plural. Okay, so values, attitude, personality, character, like that, behavior, related to each other. It depends how to use that in a sentence. You get the point? Okay, we have my behavior is being wordy all the time when I do the vlogs. Okay, so I'm very noisy, I'm very loud in English speaking, things like that. You get the point? So the whole moment will not stop, things like that. As long as the microphone is in front in my mouth, I will never stop in talking in English. Things like, you get the point? I am very verbose, or let us say loquent, meaning full of words, okay, full of terminologies, and it will never stop. Things like that. Okay, so we have here psychology and anthropology. What do you mean by anthropology is a social science? Okay, be careful for the word anthropology. Oh, really? So anthropology is a branch of social science, society, not pure science. It's a branch of social science that deals with the study of the origin, take note, origin, development, take note, development, and also the relationship between culture, heritage, things like that. Okay, from the past to the present in the humanity. This is the study of anthropology. In the study of anthropology, you need to remember the history. That's why in anthropology, we study where we came from, whether we came from an ape family or we came from a biological nature, whatever, things like that, or we came from an Adam and Eve, things like that. Because